The 49ers have a ton of needs, and it's third surprise pick here. Florida's Ricky Pearsall off the board for San Francisco.
First round draft pick is in the building. Ricky Pearsall.
The San Francisco 49ers just made a huge statement with their NFL draft, selecting not one but two wide receivers, including one in the very first round. So what does this mean for their existing wide receiver core? We discussed them trading Brandon Ayuk potentially during this offseason, but the NFL draft came and went, and the 49ers did nothing. So what is the San Francisco 49ers plan moving forward? Who will get traded, if anybody? Well, we're gonna break it down for you guys in this video. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications as we are on the grind to 900,000 subscribers. And now that we get all that out of the way, over the past few days, we've been dominating on prize picks. We've been hitting an NBA, MLB, and we're on a hot streak, making a ton of money while having a lot of fun while doing it. I post my picks for free on Instagram, so you can literally just go copy my picks and just enjoy the game. And right now, prize picks will double your deposit match when you use my promo code FlightMike when you sign up. Or you can just click on the link in the description down below and sign up for prize picks. And thank you, prize picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Philadelphia Eagles fans are gonna love to roast me for the fact that I said that AJ Brown might be in a similar situation. So I wanted to open up this video by saying that my personal prediction about any trade going down for any member of the San Francisco 49ers is anytime from now till the trade deadline or next offseason. Because when you take a look at the cap hits and the situation that the 49ers are in, on top of the things that they need to invest money on, that's when it makes the most sense to. In the case of the Philadelphia Eagles, I personally think AJ Brown would get traded in about 2 years from now because he's currently the highest paid wide receiver in the entire NFL. And Howie Roseman was brilliant for doing such because I don't expect AJ Brown to continue to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. We've discussed this in previous videos. The wide receiver market has become extremely inflated since the 2022 offseason when Devontae Adams got traded to the Las Vegas Raiders and then signed a 5-year, $140 million contract that pays him about $28 million annually. And then Tyreek Hill would beat that very shortly after with his own 4-year, $120 million contract after getting traded to the Miami Dolphins, paying him about $30 million annually in a state with no state income tax. And for the most part, things remained stagnant for wide receivers at that point. You didn't really hear of anyone beating that number until this past offseason when Amon-Ra St. Brown got a 4-year extension just over $120 million, which earned him the most guaranteed money of any wide receiver contract in NFL history until, you guessed it, AJ Brown came along. Now, you might be wondering, why would the Philadelphia Eagles extend AJ Brown, signing him to a 3-year extension for $96 million, the most for any wide receiver in NFL history. He's under contract through 2029. His total guarantee is $84 million, and it's also the highest in the NFL too. The Eagles primarily did this for 2 reasons. One, so they could kick the can further down the road with AJ Brown's cap hit, which is brilliant to do so, but also because the wide receiver market is about to become significantly more inflated yet again. CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, and of course, the king of them all, Justin Jefferson, are all set for contract extensions. And each of them could potentially get as much, if not more, than the top 2 highest paid wide receivers this year. The salary cap increased, so therefore you could expect wide receiver contracts to slightly increase. And all of this puts a lot of pressure on the San Francisco 49ers, who all offseason long have been dealing with a heated contract dispute with Brandon Ayuk. And Brandon Ayuk really pulled out every single tool in his tool shed to try to put pressure on the 49ers for a brand new contract. The moment the 49ers lost the Super Bowl, Brandon Ayuk said this:
"Is your hope to remain with the 49ers moving forward?"
If that's the right move, yeah.
What would that right move look like for you?
Being a champion.
His girlfriend said that maybe Brandon Ayuk isn't gonna be here next year.
Okay, this might have been the last day we touched foot on Levi Stadium, me and Braylon, because He might not be out here next season.
Brandon Ayuk even posted onto his story, "Don't forget what got you there." Then his best friend mentioned how he's leaving San Francisco and advocating for Brandon Ayuk to go to Las Vegas. This is definitely more extreme than what Deebo Samuel did 2 off seasons ago, where he just unfollowed the San Francisco 49ers and said that he didn't want to play running back for the 49ers anymore. Ultimately, Deebo Samuel was rewarded with a brand new contract, and as it currently stands, he is the 8th highest paid wide receiver in the entire NFL. And believe me, Brandon Ayuk would even take a page out of Deebo Samuel's book when he unfollowed the team on social media. Brandon Ayuk and John Lynch were going back and forth with each other all summer long. John Lynch said that the 49ers are actively talking with Ayuk, and there has been no trade discussions. All those reports are not accurate. He said that the team would be okay with Ayuk playing on the 5th-year option. And then Ayuk posted this onto his story: "Money talks, but bullshit walks." So at this point, if a trade was going to happen for Brandon Ayuk, it would have happened by the time of the NFL draft. Brandon Ayuk's value was about a first-round pick, but it didn't happen. Why? Well, my guess is because the 49ers were probably offered something in the 2nd-round pick range, and that's my own speculation. But during the NFL draft, the 49ers were not only talking about a trade in regards to Brandon Ayuk, they were dangling Deebo Samuel as well. And this is leading to some confusion because Brandon Ayuk is the one that needs a contract. Deebo Samuel's under contract. Why would you want to move on from Deebo Samuel over Brandon Ayuk? Well, a lot has changed for the San Francisco 49ers since Deebo Samuel got his last contract. When Deebo Samuel got his contract extension, he was the engine of the San Francisco 49ers. If you remember, during the first half of the 2022 season, the San Francisco 49ers were struggling mightily on offense. I mean, they had no identity at all whatsoever and were 3-4 in the first half of the season. So what would change all of this? Well, the 49ers would trade for Christian McCaffrey, and then he became the #1 weapon on the San Francisco 49ers offense. The reason why the 49ers offense is so deadly is you don't really know how they're going to hit you. Is it going to be an inside zone run with Christian McCaffrey? Is it going to be outside zone with Christian McCaffrey? Is it going to be a jet sweep to Deebo Samuel? Are they faking the jet sweep to Deebo Samuel and handing it off to Christian McCaffrey? Is it neither? Are they faking the jet sweep, but they're actually doing a play action pass, which involves a fake handoff to Christian McCaffrey? Well, Brandon Ayuk's wide open. There's so many ways that Kyle Shanahan could trip you up, and a huge reason for that is because of Christian McCaffrey. But now that Christian McCaffrey is here, Deebo Samuel's responsibilities were a little bit less than his stellar 2021 season, where he went for 1,400 receiving yards on top of 365 rushing yards. He hasn't been a first-team All-Pro or a Pro Bowler since. He was injured for a few games over the past 2 seasons, and probably the most important part of all is Deebo Samuel's impending cap hit. Now look, this isn't to say that Deebo Samuel's a terrible wide receiver. He's ranked #1 in yards after the catch above expectation per reception in 3 of the last 4 seasons. He's come 5th in receiving DVOA and 13th in yards per route run in 2023. He's also 2 years and 2 months older than Brandon Ayuk and is exponentially more physical than Brandon Ayuk, which could result in more injuries. He's never played a full slate of games throughout his entire career. He's had a fractured shoulder in 2023 and also had ankle and thigh issues in 2022. But probably the biggest reason why the San Francisco 49ers would trade Deebo Samuel over Brandon Ayuk is trading him would clear nearly $7 million of cap space from San Francisco's books and eliminate roughly $37 million in cash payments over the next 2 years. This is killing 2 birds with 1 stone for the San Francisco 49ers. And honestly, there's never been a better time to trade Deebo Samuel. You take a look at what the Buffalo Bills got for Stephon Diggs. The Houston Texans gave up a 2025 2nd-round pick for a wide receiver who's 2 years older than Samuel and wasn't nearly as efficient as him last season. And any team that trades for Samuel would be responsible for about $40 million over the next 2 years. At that rate, he should be worth a 2025 2nd-round pick without a question. Whereas Brandon Ayuk is the bona fide wide receiver 1 for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, if you take a look at this chart, the higher you go up on this chart, the higher your catch point and yards after the catch grade is. The more to the right you go to this chart, the better you are at separating. So if you look at the bottom left, you see players like Devontae Parker, Quentin Johnson, Harris Marshall Jr., Michael Gallup. But as you go to the top, you'll see Khalil Shakir, who was incredible after the catch. You'll start seeing Justin Jefferson a little bit more to the right. Players like Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is the 2nd highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, is currently right over here. A little bit more to the right is Jalen Waddle. Bear in mind, Justin Jefferson was injured this past year. All the way to the right is Tyreek Hill, without a doubt the best at separating from opposing DBs QBs this year. And a little bit to the left, but at the very, very top, is Brandon Ayuk. And this is before we even discuss Brandon Ayuk as one of the best run blocking wide receivers in the entire NFL. The selection of Ricky Pearsall in the 2024 NFL draft all but solidifies the fact that one of these wide receivers are bound to get traded within the next year. The plan is obvious. You want to move off of one of these gigantic cap hits, probably Deebo Samuel's, and start with a fresh, underpaid rookie scale contract, which is what Ricky Pearsall is going to be. And Ricky Pearsall is an absolute freak. I mean, the guy has a 42-inch vertical, ran a 4.41 during the NFL draft combine, loves to work the middle of the field, which is going to make him a favorite of Brock Purdy's. And although all three of these individuals could potentially play together for the first half of the NFL season, don't be surprised if you see Deebo Samuel in a different uniform either at the start of this season or by the trade deadline. And it's not the worst thing at all whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think it'd be much more intelligent for the 49ers to do this, especially considering the fact that they have to pay Brock Purdy really soon. That's what Adam Schefter has to say about this situation via the Pat McAfee show.
They had inquiries about Brandon Ayuk, and they decided they wanted to try to sign him to a long-term contract. They got a couple of inquiries on Deebo. Nothing got close to getting done. That the plan right now is to move forward with both those guys. Ayuk has not signed that contract. He's headed into the last year of his deal. Deebo Samuel is headed into the last year of guaranteed money. There are wide receiver questions in San Francisco that they're going to have to address.
And it's not only Shefty suggesting it. According to ESPN's Nick Wagner, the 49ers are planning for life without at least one, if not two, of their wide receivers as soon as 2025. The plan has been, and still remains, to try to work out a long-term contract extension for Brandon Ayuk. That happens, difficult decisions on Samuel and Jennings, an unrestricted free agent, will await after the season. The Niners were very proactive regarding the future of the receiver position during the NFL draft, selecting Ricky Pearsall in the first round and Jacob Cowing in the fourth. Paying both Ayuk and Samuel would become prohibitive, especially with Nick Bosa already on the largest non-quarterback contract in football, and Brock Purdy likely getting a lucrative contract extension himself, because the 49ers have a playmaker in Christian McCaffrey who offers a similar dual threat skill set to Samuel. Keeping Ayuk likely makes the most sense for San Francisco. Regardless, there is serious uncertainty regarding the future of the position for the defending NFC champions. But this isn't a bad situation to be in. This is a very exciting situation to be in. The 49ers have done a great job managing their cap space so far, in large part to Brock Purdy. It seems like the next part of that plan would be moving away from Deebo Samuel. Let me know in the comment section down below, especially if you're a 49ers fan. What do you guys think about all this? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.